Okay, good morning. Today we're going to start talking about different types of excipients that are used in solution formulations. We'll start off with preservatives, which has attracted a fair amount of controversy over the last several years because of its implications in toxicity and perhaps even in neurodevelopmental disorders. Here are the learning objectives associated with this lecture. Alright, as far as the definition is concerned, preservatives are substances that are added to non-sterile dosage forms to protect them from microorganisms that are introduced inadvertently during or after preparation. When it is used in sterile dosage forms, preservatives are added primarily and most importantly in multiple dose containers. So, what is meant by multiple dose containers is that sterile dosage forms uh, can be packaged in containers to administer a single dose, as in the case of, say, an ampule or in a vial of a medication, or an infusion, um, or in a case of an eye drops, ophthalmic drops, or a nasal spray. There could be multiple doses that could be contained in one container. In such instances, when there are multiple doses that are contained in one packaging, uh, during the usage of this particular product, the user, the patient, can open the container and administer a dose and then close the container and retain it for future use. During this time, during the usage, there's always a possibility that the user or the patient may inadvertently introduce microorganisms into the container. And if preservatives are not present in the formulation, then these inadvertently introduced microorganisms can multiply and contaminate the final product, and then the contaminated product then lead to further problems during use later on. Different types of products utilize preservatives. Some of those are listed here: emulsions, suspensions, oral solutions, ophthalmic solutions, ophthalmic ointments, injections in multiple dose containers. All of these are examples for different types of dosage forms that use preservatives. Now, there are some instances where a preservative may not really be needed. When the preparation is used immediately, say for example, an injection is being compounded by diluting a medication to tend to a person who has met with an accident or trauma, that is an immediate use preparation. Uh, that is an example when preservatives may not be needed. Uh, when there's no water present in the preparation, for example, ophthalmic ointments made out of non-aqueous ointment bases, non-aqueous injections recommended USP, where there's no water present at all. When pH of the preparation is less than 3, that is very acidic, or greater than 9 when it's very basic. It's extremely difficult for microorganisms to thrive in such conditions. So we may not really need a preservative. And when there are other ingredients in the final formulation that has antimicrobial properties, then there is perhaps no need to add any additional preservative. Now, there are some instances where preservatives are contraindicated. Contraindicated means you cannot use preservatives during any of these examples or instances that are listed in the slide. First of all, neonates. I may have mentioned this in one of my earlier lectures. Neonates lack enzymes that can metabolize and degrade preservatives. When they lack metabolizing enzymes that can degrade and metabolize metabolize preservatives, it'll lead to accumulation of preservatives and it'll lead to fatal toxicities. And hence, preservatives that are intended for use in neonates, that means newborns. Then, ophthalmic solutions that are intended for use during eye surgery with non-intact cornea, as well as those that are used for intraocular injections, cannot contain preservative. Similarly, parenterals with volumes greater than 30 milliliters can be said to be